My narcissistic sister tried to ruin my life, and my family brushed it off like it was a joke. Now everyone finally sees just how messed up she is. A little background. I'm the second youngest of 5 kids. I have 2 older brothers and 1 older sister. We'll call her X. There's a 5-year age gap between us, so we never really had that sisterly bond people expect. Growing up, I always felt like a burden to her. Anytime it was my turn to pick the family movie or basically do anything, she would get upset. X had control issues as early as 9 years old, so you can probably see where this is going. I'm 18 right now, about to turn 19, woohoo, and X turned 24 earlier this year. Her boyfriend, let's call him Y, proposed to her during a family beach day back in June. He did the whole big proposal setup, giant white letters, rose petals, everything before we arrived. She was thrilled, said yes, my parents were over the moon, and my older siblings were happy too. The youngest is only 4, so she didn't really get what was going on. Here's where the drama starts. Ever since the proposal, X has gone full-on bridezilla. My mom insisted that I be one of the bridesmaids, so now I'm dragged into all of it whether I like it or not. Here are my sister's demands so far. All bridesmaids have to pay for their own dress, a $300 blush pink dress, plus shoes, hair, and makeup. Everyone must attend all wedding events and the bachelorette events, which include a bachelorette spa day, $800 each a bachelorette weekend trip to Toronto, staying at the Fairmont Hotel. We each have to cover our share of the weekend, attending dress appointments, even when they're only for the bride, paying for our own alterations, around $300 on top of the dress price. We have to go to cake tastings, food tastings, and venue visits and pay $25 for each tasting. Bridal party reservation fee. Bridesmaids and groomsmen each have to pay $150 just to reserve our spot. Gift rules. We must buy gifts either as cash, check, or something off her registry. She has a spreadsheet tracking what everyone is giving and says she will return any gift that doesn't match her. Registry or wedding theme, my mom says it's just bride anxiety. I say it's just my sister being controlling because she wants her dream December ski hill wedding. But wait, there's more. Here are the extra controlling rules I forgot to mention earlier. All bridesmaids have to go to hair and skin appointments every 6 weeks, out of pocket, to make sure we look flawless in photos. Anyone with tattoos must cover them. The dresses go up to the neck, wrists, and ankles anyway. X wants to be the only one sleeveless. Showing off her tattoos and colorful hairstyle, we either have to dye our hair a natural color or wear a wig, also at our own expense. The dresses only come in sizes 0 to 10. If you don't fit, you're expected to lose weight. I'm a size 12, and my sister has already called me fat and sent me a keto diet book from Amazon. No vendors are allowed to speak directly to X or Y. Everything must go through the bridal party first. She even made a shared Gmail account for us to use for all wedding communication. We're supposed to just know what's okay without asking her. This part is stressing my mom out the most. We're supposed to remind wedding guests to pay their $150 attendance deposit, and if they don't, they're not invited. We also have to confirm what they'll buy from the registry or how much cash they'll give. After writing all this out, I'm realizing my family isn't normal. I've decided to look into therapy through my university and see if I can move into residence early. Someone messaged me privately suggesting I get my mom off my bank account and secure important documents like my birth certificate, and I think I'm going to do that soon. I texted my mom asking if she and dad could talk with me while X was out at her fiance's. I'm also planning to show my parents this post to help them understand where I'm coming from. I'm also going to take some time away from this account because a lot of you are right. This family dynamic is not normal. I called my aunt, who is also my godmother, and told her everything. She agrees my mom is acting crazy, and she's encouraging me to talk to my parents about not just the wedding, but also the favoritism I've experienced since childhood. She's even on standby in case things go badly. When my shift at work ends, I'm going to pack a quick bag for my aunt to grab before I sit down and talk with my parents. Relevant comments from me. People are telling me that X needs to accept that finances matter and not everyone can afford this. I tried telling her that. She doesn't care. Her fiancé makes 120K a year, tech job, and she's an accountant making 100K. They can afford this lifestyle easily. I can't. Some people told me to demand that someone cover my costs. But my parents say they're already spending almost 100K on the wedding and can't give me 2K for my own expenses. Meanwhile, I'm about to start university with 177K in tuition, and interest on student loans is currently 26%. I don't want to go into debt for this. Dex has 13 bridesmaids and a maid of honor to match her fiancé's 13 fraternity brothers. She said if I drop out, 2 guys will have to walk together, so I'm pressured to stay. Update. 1 week later. Sorry it took me so long to post this. We finally had the conversation with my parents. At first, Mom postponed it. She said she wasn't feeling well and went to bed at 6 p.m. Then we got busy moving X into her fiancé's place, and by the time we finished, my parents had forgotten we were supposed to talk. When we finally sat down 2 days ago, I found out some big things. My dad never knew the full story. He knew he was supposed to pay for X's dress and part of the wedding honeymoon, but what he didn't know was that my mom had been diverting money from the kids' accounts. Here's how it works. My parents had been setting aside 25K accounts for each of us kids. Once we turned 19 and went off to post-secondary school, that money became ours to use however we wanted. I just turned 19, so my dad was about to transfer mine to me. But when we had this conversation, he checked the bank records, and sure enough, some of my money had already been used. Here's what happened. After X got engaged, she told my mom she always felt like the left-out child. She has used that line many times before. My mom fell for it, got guilt-tripped, and decided to use the 50K from my 2 brothers' untouched accounts. They're both in the Canadian military, so they don't need the money since the Army pays for housing and education. Then she combined that with my 25K and my sister's 25K, totaling 100K, to fund X's dream wedding. Mom figured that since I have 177K saved for tuition, she could just give me back 155K later for a car, house, or wedding. This all happened because X is a master manipulator. She even used my mom's mental and physical health issues against her. When I was born, my mom had severe postpartum depression and had to stay in a treatment facility for 4 months, leaving my dad, my siblings, and me behind. My 2 brothers were 9 and 7, X was almost 5, and I was just a newborn. Dad was overwhelmed, so a nanny cared for me. X got very little attention during those months and apparently started resenting me. Mom eventually came back, but X had a grudge, not against Mom, but against me. I was the reason Mom left. At one point, she even tried to smother me with a pillow. Mom caught her just in time. For years, my family treated that incident like a funny story, but looking back, that was just a coping mechanism. Throughout my childhood, X used manipulation to get whatever she wanted, and she did it again for this wedding. Mom felt guilty and decided to give her little dove everything she asked for. I grew up hearing, "You always give me XYZ, I want this," followed by a full meltdown if she didn't get her way. As she got older, it stopped being about toys and candy and turned into something much bigger. But girls go on trips. As a result of all this, my dad and I grew very close. He's my best friend. My sister and I actually had a decent relationship when I was about 12 to 14, but that changed again when Mom got pregnant with my youngest sister. It was an accident, and once again, I became the target for X's rage and abuse. While I know it doesn't excuse everything, I figured it was important to give the full story. Update, Part 2. So, now that the background information is complete, here's what happened. A day after my sister moved out, I asked my mom and dad if we could finally have the conversation. Mom was feeling better, so we sat down and started talking. I told them how I felt, how much of a financial toll all of this would put on me, how unfair it was, etc. Well, Dad blew up. He didn't know about the $100,000 or everything my sister had been doing. He didn't like that Mom had been using the phrase, "your father and I agreed," even though they hadn't. I showed them group chat screenshots. We worked through the wedding issue. I don't have to attend, be in the 5K issue. Dad is signing my money over to me early. Then I was asked to go to my room for a bit because Dad and Mom wanted to talk. They settled the budget issue on their own. Then Dad asked why I didn't feel comfortable talking to them earlier, so I showed them this post. Dad snapped. He immediately called my sister and told her to come over ASAP because he needed to talk to her and would not accept excuses. She said she'd be there in 4 hours because she was with her fiancé and his parents. Dad pressed her, and she hung up and blocked him. Dad told me to go to my room again, but leave my phone so they could go over the post and read the comments. I don't know exactly what happened, but Mom came to talk to me later. She told me about the PPD, postpartum depression, I didn't know about before. We solved our issues, and I asked if my sister would go to therapy, since Mom was convinced that the 4-month leave was what caused all of this. She said she'd try but couldn't force it. I told her that if my sister doesn't go, I'm going to therapy myself, and I might go low contact with Mom, Dad. Then joined the conversation and assured me I would get my money and that I wouldn't have to go to the wedding if I didn't want to. Since my sister is charging $150 per guest, Dad said she can pay for her dream ski hill wedding herself. Apparently her fiancé's family isn't paying for anything, so now they have to, or she doesn't get the wedding she wants. And speaking of the $150 guest fee, y'all were right. My sister made that whole thing up and told Mom it was an Italian tradition. We talked to my sister's future MIL when she dropped my sister off. My sister doesn't drive, and she was shocked that X had said that. She explained there is a money dance, but there is no $150 fee. When my sister came back, she came back after about 5 hours, and while her future MIL was there, she acted sweet as pie. But the second MIL left. Oh Lord, the gates of hell opened. She demanded to know why Dad disturbed her peaceful evening and demanded that he drive her back. Dad told her he didn't care and told her to sit down. She refused, and they fought. Finally, she sat down after Dad started pulling out various tricks, including threatening to withhold money or telling her fiancé's family about her true nature, which I guess they haven't really seen. I was excused from my room again. There was a lot of angry yelling back and forth. My sister tried every manipulation tactic, even threatening to go low contact or never let Mom see future grandkids, just to get Mom to go back to the original $100K wedding plan. But Mom and Dad didn't budge. The fighting stopped. When my dad yelled that Mom wasn't her punching bag, that her PPD was not her fault, and if X was that angry about it, she needed to go to therapy. Then I was called back down and we went over all the issues. Starting with the keto book my sister sent me, X tried to defend it, saying I was fat and lazy, but my dad defended me. My sister started crying, and Mom told Dad to go a little easier on her, which he did. We finally discussed everything, and for the first time, I felt like part of the family instead of the punching bag. Eventually, my sister got an Uber and left, claiming she was being attacked. We've decided to wait until Christmas, when my brothers are back in town, so we can have a full family meeting and figure out what we need to do to move forward in a healthy way, which will most likely mean family therapy or cutting her off where things stand. Now Mom and Dad are still working out the budget issue with my sister's in-laws. My parents told them that for a wedding of this size to happen, everyone would need to contribute. The in-laws agreed that $100K for a wedding was insane. Last I heard, my sister will only be getting $15K for the wedding, which is basically $5K at this point because the $10K dress is already ordered. The other $10K is being held for something tangible. Her in-laws are generously helping with $15K ice, $10K for the wedding, and $5K for the honeymoon. As for my schooling, Dad and I are going to the bank tomorrow to cancel the loan I had to take out. Luckily, it only officially starts when school starts, so the cancellation fee is small, and Dad is paying for it. My parents also agreed that my first year of university, plus housing costs, will be paid by them, not out of my $25K budget. The full $25K they set aside for me will be transferred into a TFSA for later in life. Mom and I still have a rocky relationship, and my sister absolutely hates me. She's banned me from the wedding and from her life. Honestly, I don't care. I don't see it as losing a sister. I see it as losing a bully. I promised my parents that I will never treat my youngest sister the way I was treated. I'm going to be the role model she deserves and protect her the way my brothers and Dad protected me. I think that's everything that needs to be covered. But if anyone has questions, feel free to ask. I'm so thankful for this subreddit for teaching me what a real family is about and for teaching me about boundaries and communication. Have an amazing life, you gorgeous humans. Updated relevant comments commenter. One thing that seems to be overlooked: your sister tried to murder you. That is a huge deal. I hope in therapy you talk about this because it's traumatic, and the fact that your parents treated it as a joke is awful. Your sister owes you an apology, and your mom needs to answer why she didn't put your sister in therapy immediately. Also, your sister's fiancé deserves to know the truth about what he's getting into. OP. Mom and Dad didn't make it a funny story at first. It was mostly my sister saying, "Oh, it was a joke." When we were older, my parents never left me alone with her. Either they were in the room, or my oldest brother was next to me. It was only when I was about 10 or 11, when my sister and I started having an okay relationship, that it became a joke. I forgave her and honestly believed it was just a joke, but now I know it wasn't. She's hated me since day one. As for therapy, I forgot to mention that she did go from ages 7 to 10. Originally, it was just a doctor who saw her once a month from age 4, 1-2 to about 6, 1-2, but she learned how to say exactly what they wanted to hear, so they discontinued her visits. My dad was fine with this, but my mom wanted a second opinion and found the best child psychologist in Alberta, who worked with her for almost 4 years. Toward the end, they said they had taught her everything and helped her with trauma, but honestly, I think she just became really good at telling them what they wanted to hear. As for her fiancé, he knows. I texted him a long message and voice note, and we talked on the phone for 2 hours. At the end, he just kind of shrugged it off. In hindsight, I think he was in on it. He also has some concerning traits. Commenter: do your parents feel like they failed your sister? She was neglected and tried to smother you, and it became a family joke. It sounds like your parents are just dumping the blame on her when they played a role too. OP: I definitely think it played a role. She showed concerning behavior as a toddler. Pushing, biting, hurting my brothers or daycare kids. But I think what really broke her was not having mom there. Dad focused on the boys. The nanny took care of me and my aunt handled the motherly stuff for my sister. But she wasn't mom. Things did get better when I was 12. My sister actually told me why she hated me, that she thought I stole attention from her. But when I was 14 and mom was pregnant again, my sister started hating me all over again. I do know that she went to therapy from ages 7 to 10, mostly because she held a grudge against mom. When mom stepped in to protect me, my sister would destroy the house, scream at mom, or yell at the dog. Commenter: your parents don't get to shrug this off. This is awful parenting. They catered to her every demand and helped create this situation. OP: I don't think Dad chose to only raise the boys. We just had one car, and my brothers had football, hockey, and lacrosse. They were always busy. When Dad was home, he would take my sister out for father-daughter dates twice a week, but she'd get upset if she didn't get a new toy or gadget. She loved these things called pixel chicks. Even when she stopped playing with them and I wanted to try at age 3, she suddenly became possessive over them. When mom was finally allowed to stay weekends after treatment, she spent time with my sister, watching movies, braiding hair, reading stories, etc. I don't really think that was neglect. They stepped in when things got worse. And I was never left alone with her again after the pillow incident. She was taken to therapy, and the doctors eventually gave her a clean bill of health. I just think she's a master manipulator. OP in another comment. Just to show you what she's like, she stole her fiancé from another girl she knew, just because she wanted him. She didn't care about the other girl at all. Commenter: people with BPD can be master manipulators. They can fool therapists by lying, masking behaviors, and acting like the perfect patient. OP: oh, great. Looks like I'm about to go down another rabbit hole. But I know my sister will refuse to ever see a doctor. Unless it was to prove she was right all along, B wouldn't even let me have a Lalaloopsy doll without stealing it and burning the thing. Going no contact honestly seems like the best option for people dealing with someone with untreated BPD. Don't feel bad about it. Your life will be much more peaceful without the drama and crazy accusations. And don't worry about trying to get your sister into therapy either. Therapy only works if you're honest and willing to change, and people with BPD often aren't. You should definitely look into therapy for yourself. I did, and it really helped me, along with reading forums for families who deal with these kinds of issues. Parents often end up being enablers, trying to keep the family together out of a desire for normalcy. But having a disordered sibling is anything but normal. Once you recognize that it's not normal, you can actually begin to heal. OP. Yeah, Mom has a therapy session this Monday for the money and guilt trip thing. She and Dad also have couples therapy afterward. I'm starting therapy on my own for a whole list of things. My brothers, well, they're hundreds of kilometers away, so I don't really know what's going on with them. My sister is just playing house. My little sister wasn't there when the argument happened. We made sure she had a play date with her daycare friend. Update. 3 months later. Hey everyone. I figured I would give you all an update since it's been a while. I apologize. I lost the login to this account but just found it again. Family therapy is going really well. My 2 brothers were given temporary leave to come back to Canada. They were stationed overseas for a bit, and I believe they'll have to go back after this, but it really helped the process along. Our family is getting back on track, and my mom and I are closer than ever. It honestly feels like I have my best friend back. As for my sister, honestly, I don't know what's going on with her. A friend of mine still follows her social media, and everything seems fine. The wedding was moved up to November 26th instead of December 17th, like she originally planned. She and her fiancé have bought a place, and apparently, though this is just a rumor, she's pregnant. She's completely cut all of us off, and her fiancé's family is talking trash about us, but we're holding strong. In other, much happier news, I'm loving Ottawa. I go back home once a month for in-person therapy, but I also have 3 virtual sessions monthly on top of that. My oldest brother is getting married, so while I lost a terrible sister, I gained an amazing one. She's so sweet. She texts me every couple of days, gets me Uber Eats orders when I'm feeling down despite being provinces away. She's honestly so kind. She even asked if I'd feel comfortable being her maid of honor. She's an only child and her mom passed away, so I said yes. By this time next year, I'll officially have a new sister. There's not a whole lot else to say, except I also have a boyfriend now. He's in the army too. I guess I couldn't get away from it. He's very supportive and loving. Our 1-month anniversary is in January, and I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, thank you so much, Reddit. You are all amazing, beautiful, soulful humans. I hope you all have prosperous, healthy, and fruitful lives. I love you all. Sincerely, Cute Quarter 12399 Wedding Update. Hello, everyone. A lot of people wanted to know what happened at the wedding yesterday, so here's the update. My family and I were banned from attending, but my cousins, friends, and her husband's family filled me in. Not much happened at the ceremony, though the Mog, mother of the groom, showed up in an off-white dress, and a few people brought their kids despite it being a child-free ceremony. But the real drama started at the reception. Honestly, I somewhat feel bad for my sister about this. The Mog invited one of the groom's exes, hoping it would break them up. It didn't work. The ex tried to get between my sister and her now husband, but her husband, props to him for this, told her to leave. Overall, it wasn't very dramatic. They made it to the altar and are leaving for their honeymoon today or tomorrow. But one thing that was confirmed, my sister is definitely pregnant. At the end of the wedding speeches, the groom did a slideshow, and the last slide was an ultrasound picture with the caption, "Baby, last name, due June 2023. Sorry it isn't much of an update, but that's everything. Thank you for watching the video. If you're interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.